Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Streamcast. This time, I'm back with a very, very special guest. I'm going to interview a writer and narrative designer behind one of the greatest games out in 2024, and actually the game that our community, that's all of you guys, voted as Streamcast Game of the Year, Pelle Cahndlerby. Join us as we get into his life in the
Streamcast.
How are you doing, Pele? I don't know if I pronounced your last name correctly. I haven't asked you that actually. How are you?
Yeah, but it's close enough, so it's no worries. So,
We'll take it.
fine. I mean, I'm here. I'm invited. I'm a happy guest in a warm, cozy environment with a nice host.
Oh, thank you. You're far too kind. I'll give a shout out to our co-host Hassan, who's usually on the podcast. Hey, how's it going, broski?
Yeah, hi.
So
I hope he's also very comfortable wherever lurking in the digital
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's relaxed. He's chilled. He got his feet up. He's actually enjoyed Ultros. He streamed it last year, around about release time, and I'm going to be showcasing the first 3 hours of the Metroidvania Marvel. So I can't wait to get into it. That's not me. I didn't put you in jail.
I just saw bits and pieces of the text there, so
he's in chat jail, so you can't hear his cursed dulcet tones. But it's all right. He's eating dinner, so he's okay. You know, pros and cons.
yeah, have a nice dynamic already. It's like a good cup, bad cup, worst.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I've been called the bad cop of gaming, so it's all good. Just to let everyone know, that's the first guest that's not Hassan, because he's part of the Streamcast, to pop in and chat with the comment is going to earn themselves a copy of Ultros. And stay tuned to the end of the podcast, because we will also be giving away another copy, and we'll carry that over to the stream if need be, where we'll be giving a further 2 copies. So make sure you get comfy, get locked in as we get into the life of Pele. First of all, join me in welcoming and wishing Pele a happy birthday, because he celebrated a birthday yesterday. Do anything special for it?
Yeah, I mean, I was locked up in the countryside, cleaning out a basement, so that wasn't where I have more dust in my lungs than a coal miner, but I have a song in my heart than a coal miner's daughter. So, you know.
Yeah, fair enough. Of course, I did a little bit of a rundown as to who you are, but if you'd like to introduce yourself to our community as well, and I guess your community as well that you've shared via Ultra's social media platforms, who is Pele?
Well, funny you should ask that. You know, I'm just a humble poet that was going along minding my own business, and then all of a sudden this demon came bouncing down from the skies, begging for someone to deliver it. And, you know, as far as poets go, I was just looking around. Nobody else was like saying anything. So I said, sure thing, Mr. Demon. I'll give it a shot. And here.
Sure thing, Mr. Demon. Yeah, and Hassan is confirming he really loved the game. So you got someone to thank Mr. Demon for. But all the way from Sweden, tell me, Pele, what your first ever game and console was.
Yeah, it's interesting because it was not that long ago that I actually had to think about it, because as I was in this countryside basement cleaning out a lot of stuff, I also happened upon a lot of memories, of course, and I found many like sketches I had done, being anything from 3 to 6 years old, of my own board games. And that was very interesting, because sometimes when you work with creative things, games, music, whatever, you kind of lose your light a bit when yeah, you know, the ups and downs of life also flows through everything we do. And yeah, being able to stand there knee high in dust from many lifetimes, finding these small bits and pieces of light was really needed for me, and that had me also thinking about games, digital games, and I had to look up some arcade, really old arcade games, because it was in a ferry. What do you say? The waiting halls for a ferry. They had some arcade cabinets, and I must have been like 3 years old or something like that, 3 or 4. And they had I must read the name so I don't. Robotron 2084. How's that for a cool title?
Oh, wow, that is very cool.
Yeah, so it was like a arcade stick, 8-directional shooter. You were this small character in the middle. You actually had 2 sticks. One you steered the character, and one you aimed the direction of your like shots. So it was the first Robotron 2084.
I love that. First of all, I want to get into more of the board games in a little bit, but it's very cool that arcades. I remember playing on the arcades, but they were much more additional because home consoles were very much a thing in the 90s and the noughties. So we were, playing PS1s and PS2s, but going to the arcade and that having been your first gaming experience sounds really cool. Like the whole classic having a coin in the and like saying, "Oh, I got next," and certain things like that. Really love that, and that's something that I would like to get more into. Robotron 2084, like the nomenclature is a bit similar to Cyberpunk. I've noticed that. That's very cool.
I was terrible.
But who's good at something straight away? That's very rare. Like sometimes you have to get good at things, right?
Hello, Mozart. They were like, they took it from the start.
So when it comes to board games that you were kind of designing or making these sketches of, did you have the entire game in mind, or were you just thinking of characters and tokens and were trying to piece things together?
No, I was more of a themes person. I liked spectacular characters and the setting. The rules were not that important. I just wanted things to look really cool.
Hey, look, I can relate being a fan of shonen anime. As long as it looks cool, you get a pass from me. Story, fine. Got cool characters and colors. Yeah, let's go. So that's very interesting, and I can kind of link that to Ultros. Actually, a lot of the colors, a lot of the presentations are very cool, very trippy, unique, I would say. But if we go from Robotron 2084, let's take that to, what are your favorite games? What are your best games? What are Pelle's top 5 games?
Also, these things also depend on so many things, like the mood, what decade we're in. Is it Monday? I mean,
Can confirm it is Monday.
Yeah. Very good. No, say that the first, of course, Legend of Zelda, because it was so different from. I was more Zelda than Mario.
Sure.
Because of the world to explore in the direction you wanted to head, and not having to like move from one side to the other of the screen, and that's it. You can't go back. I was really much into exploration, finding things, and with the graphics those days, I also enjoyed my own fantasy, of course, and filling in the blanks, making the world rich, even if it was like in 8 bits and pieces. So Zelda is the first one that I think is on my mantelpiece, mantelplace. It's over the fire. It's above the fire.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah,
it's on the podium.
Yeah, and then if we get forward to take something from like every beat of game playing in a lifetime, I would say Fate of Atlantis, Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis.
Okay.
Because also branching paths, you could play it in so many ways. So we had not one, you had 3 experiences. You could dive in and try things you knew you had just touched upon before, or that, oh, maybe I can do this in another path with other choices. And also for the environments, the thing of being inside of a movie when you're not. And it is really the fourth Indiana Jones movie. Whatever people, will always be. So that it's something I could also come back to many times during the years, and just start up a new file to start playing it and get like the mood and the vibe from the environments, the exotic things, and classic adventure. And I also love point and click, so it's perfect. And then going into more modern territory, it's similar games too, but especially Persona 4 Golden.
Okay.
Yep. I also think every game I really like has a place in time for me emotionally, and what you're going through, what's around you, what's happening in your life. So this I can also very much like connect to the era of when I played it, but also interesting with the social linking. Even if it was like not a perfect game in many senses, it had all the ingredients of making me more intrigued in how those things worked. And who don't want to live in a classic Japanese village out in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah.
Calm, fresh air, just the characters, the environment, everything was far from perfect, but it was very nice, very, very inspiring also. And then I would say moving into more of the territory that I draw inspiration from now, of course, because being a big David Lynch fan, and I'm a fan of the vibes. You don't have to explain everything. You don't have to like hang a lantern on stuff all the time. And that really made me fall in love with Kentucky Route Zero. Very nice, very stylistic, very minimalistic, telling a story of a part of the world, of course, that's not... Everybody watches all the American shows, movies all the time growing up, also in Europe. In Sweden, everybody like learns English really early because we don't dub things. We have everything in original language. So diving into that mysterious part of Americana was very... And that also leads me to the most recent WoW experience, and that's Disco Elysium.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like with every one of your choices, there's been a very cultured response from me, and it's like you're a cultured gamer. Sorry. Why Disco Elysium?
Really cool and really in front of all these kids. Hi, fellow kids. Let's skate. No, but Disco also takes you into the paths of what they were inspired from David Lynch, the Inland Empire of the mysticism around stuff, detective story riddled with the occult, and interesting characters, also interesting blends of styles when it came to character portraits versus what you were moving around with. But it was in the same air, it breathed the same air, but it took liberties with the portraits that were really magnificent, I think. So all those psychological choices, and also daring to say things that they knew that people will probably not understand 1/8 of this, and it's okay. It's okay. It sets the mood. It sets the theme. It gives you something. It gives you a feeling.
Yeah, pretty. I don't even know if it's ironic, but there has been a theme with your choices. There's a lot of, like you said, psychology. There's a lot of world building, but also not having to explain everything that's going on. Sometimes just letting the player or the viewer kind of put the pieces together themselves. And maybe there isn't an answer for everything, but that's okay, because you can come up with theories and you can discuss the game even more so on, various platforms like this, YouTube right here, and in school or at work and stuff like that. So there's a lot of thought-provoking, I guess, answers with your top 5, and I can see that leading into this project Ultros. So
yes, I see you. You're trying to crawl your way into Ultros all the time.
I'm trying to stay on topic. So it's like that's obviously why we are here celebrating the anniversary of the game, but obviously I'm also trying to get into your mind as well. Meeting the dev behind the masterpiece is something that we've been doing here for quite a few years, and whether it's a dev from Brazil or from the UK or America or in Sweden in this case, there's a lot of culture, there's a lot of difference, but there's also a lot keeping us united through this medium that we love. So yeah, obviously not trying to rush you or trying to talk about.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Trying to uncover.
Whoa, look at the time.
So
laugh it out. I'm just gonna say while you're doing it. when you say the mastermind behind, I also have to say I'm not the sole mind behind this. There's so many people. Or there's like you have El Cuervo, you have Niklas Åkerblad, you have Morten, you have Hugo, Oscar with the music. You have Tua, you have Kai, Yvette, Roberto with the additional graphics and also in the graphics team. So I'm one piece of this puzzle, but I am the most good-looking one. That's why I'm here. I have all this going for me, and you said that specifically when we talked earlier. You said I need something to look great on screen, on national television. I need something to dazzle the audience, and here I am.
No lies were spoken. That was pretty much word for word what happened.
Yep.
So of course, I think that's a misnomer on my part. I mean to say a mastermind, not the mastermind, because a game can be compared to like a high class kitchen where you have cooks, you have chefs, you have many people doing many different things, but that consumer gets a really nice meal, and that is what we got with Ultros. It's a great comparison.
Yeah, and I just happen to be the star in the Guide Michelin, So here we are.
Apt, right? So if we talk about Pelle going from playing games like Disco Elysium and The Legend of Zelda, what is that light bulb moment that makes you go, oh, I really like playing these games. I would like to make my own at some point?
Well, there are fun answers and boring answers, but let's try here, because it has to do with my overall background in culture. Began with theater. When everyone asks you when you're smaller, it's like, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? They always ask you, teachers, parents, everyone. And here in Sweden, it's always like, yeah, people want to be firemen or hockey players or whatever. But I always wanted to be an actor. And I was the only one to say that. So one time when parent day or something like that came to school, and my teacher took my mother aside and said very almost in a more, not religious, I'm looking for words, but it was felt like okay, she's going to say something very serious now. He said, Pelle wants to be an actor. And my mother was like, okay. It was because it was so out there compared to everyone else. Everyone else was doing these tropey answers. Everyone wants to do the same thing. But I always just knew I was going to be an actor. I didn't know how. And let's face it, I have as much brains now as I had then, so I still don't know how. But, it didn't matter because I just had it. I never had to motivate for myself why I wanted to be something. I just felt it. It's just been a natural part of me. And whatever you do with stories or an expression, you want to tell someone something, you want to give someone something, you want to make someone feel something, you have different stages for that. So I went from theater into musical theater, school at a conservatoire, Ballet Academy of Gothenburg, with dancing, singing, acting, musical theater. And for me, I've always played games, always played digital games, board games, read these old classics I got from my mother, or she had gotten from her father, Treasure Island, stuff like that. Captain Nemo, League Under the Sea, and all of a sudden you just connect the dots, and it's like, okay, so there's also another stage where you could give an audience something. You enjoy playing games, and it was an opportunity to also educate yourself further into the craftsmanship of game making and also project management in games. So all of a sudden you think, did I just stumble upon all these things? did I just like happen to be at the right place at the right time, or was it something that I had carried with me without even thinking about it from forever? So I can't say exactly when it was like, yeah, I think this could be a cool thing to put in a game, because it was just an extension of what I already had and what I already did.
That's a brilliant answer. That's because it's real, you know. It's utterly unique to you, and wanting to be an actor. Yeah, you don't often hear saying that, right?
I like to keep it real. I think.
So from there, from wanting to be an actor and then finding this different stage, I really like the wording that you used. How do you go about making that a reality? Because I'm not too familiar with the gaming industry, the scene out in Sweden. I've been lucky enough to visit there, but tell me how it is in terms of like game companies and finding opportunities and your personal experience.
Well, right now it's pretty harsh, or it's a conundrum. This business is like bigger than Hollywood and Bollywood and all the music industries baked together, right? Everything's just going top, and all of a sudden you hear that there are layoffs everywhere, and it just doesn't make sense, because we always heard that the need for dreams and to escape the harsh reality, or like coming home from work, sitting down, listening to your favorite music, reading a book or playing a game, the need is bigger than ever. We don't have to go into the details of the state of the world, but and you also had the pandemics. You have everything that kind of showed people that you can still have your rich inner life through this cultural platform. So all of a sudden it's strange that people, like, of course, maybe then it blew up, and not pointing any fingers, but shareholders and other people saw an opportunity to like pump this so full of air as possible, to reap the benefits of these poor souls hammering away at the floor. So right now, I think it's going to turn up, to start go up again, because of course everything is a roller coaster. If it's about love, education, economic, whatever, everything goes up and down. So this business will also bloom again, of course, but right now it's about, I would say, even before things turn worse, when you want to do something in games, you should really focus beyond just the gaming industry. You should be focused beyond this bubble. It's a bubble. It's like a small lake in the forest with little oxygen, and you want to have as much oxygen as possible in your mind, right? So go beyond the gaming industry, experience things from other parts of culture. If you can, travel, fall in love, break your heart, like learn to talk to horses, whatever, work in a restaurant. Yeah, but it's like, add tools to your box. Don't just go in blind, looking at down what's in front of you in gaming industry and say, yeah, I want to do games like this. No. Read some strange book that you didn't even know existed, and then walk out from the library saying, could I put a chapter of this in a game? That would be crazy. Or read about flowers and like think about, how could I connect these things that I learned about how flowers mutate, anything, but just looking at the games that are out and popular right now, because that's what people do, that just, they get laid off when you just blow things up and try to make jump on the next trend. And by the year you're done with your game, the trend is something completely different. So you're chasing something, you never catch it, and when you think you're catching it, the trend has moved on and become something else. So do what you want to be, say what you want to say, tell a story you really want someone to hear, because then you can never go wrong. It's a boring answer, it's a big answer, it's a profound and up-nosed answer, but it's the truth. If you do what you love, or you do something you're really interested in, other people will also start looking at it and thinking, okay, why is this so special? Or, oh, this person is really passionate about this. This must be interesting. Instead of you just saying like, hey, I have a bubble shooter looking like a flappy fish, but it's a pig and it's like in a Tetris pattern. So don't try to take something from everything that is like popular.
Yeah.
Did I answer anything of the question, or was there even a question?
No, you did. You absolutely did. And there were some talking points there, which is like, okay, I don't know if you're like an official viewer of the Streamcast or anything, but I feel like we talk about that quite a lot in terms of Hassan in the chat and I, when it comes to like what we love in the video games industry, but then what we don't like about the industry. A lot of these same talking points come up, you know, like shareholders and people seeing an art form and trying to, what's the word, almost like roboticize it so much, just looking at the ones and the zeros and the infinite growth and all of that stuff. So there's a lot, and when you said like people are, you know, just chasing trends and putting everything that they've seen successful in other places and trying to like put them in a blender, yeah, like that's something that we can spot a mile off. And it's not a surprise when it doesn't do as well as, you know, certain people project it to, because again, like you said, they're chasing trends, but by the time that they've arrived, the trend has changed.
Yeah, and I mean, when you start making copies of copies, it gets dull.
Yeah, it's diluted.
So it's like making a soup, but it's more water than soup at the end, and then it's like, yeah, of course it fills me up, but I don't feel anything.
Exactly.
You can't feel the flavors anymore. Did anyone have like a spice in mind for this? Because I can't even make it out. Is this curry? Is it porridge? Oh, it's my boot. I'm sorry. It's like
right, in an attempt to like sanitize your game to make it as clean and, you know, as pretty as possible, you've, you know, made something that tastes like nothing. Like you said, it tastes like water. That's a very, very good analogy.
Yeah, you know, but having said that, all that, I mean, it's not per se that people that have money are evil, or people in the gaming industry that have funds are bad or not, because it's like with everything, it's not just black or white, it's a scale. So you also sometimes, you're fortunate enough to meet people that have the same mindset when it comes to being creative or passionate. And that I really have to make an honest shout out to Kepler and Kowloon, because when you work with people, of course, obviously you have a professional relationship like we are having right now, Mr. Andy, sir. We have a very professional relationship, right? Right? Yeah, I can feel it. Can you feel it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Yeah. No, but it's really...
It's my idea of professionalism.
Oh, yeah, let's say. Very good. Very professional. No, but then when you behave professionally, as I'm doing right now, and you meet people and you do all the things in the structure that needs to be, and then you find the people behind that structure. Those moments are beautiful when you find that they also go above and beyond their assigned parts in this system, in this structure, in this business, because let's face it, it's also a business. It's passion, it's culture, and then there's the business part. They have to be like the Holy Trinity. And when you meet people that have all of those things in mind, even if they have a more specific area of expertise, but they still have their passion and they show it. When you talk about things, you can see the glow. You can see it under the skin, under the shirt. It shows. Those people are valuable as heck. I'm also trying to find out what kind of Peggy rating we're having on this show, so not using certain words.
Well, you know, you're fine. You know, as long as it's not like anything.
You're trying to say I already blew it, yeah?
No, you're fine. You're fine. Like I was gonna say, like Hassan, our you know, lovely co-host, he swears like a sailor, so it's all good.
So I can drop a few bombs in here.
Yeah, you can drop an F-bomb. We're not making.
Let's save it for just the right moment.
I think let's not cheapen it. Like when it's truly deserved, you know. Hassan has had a lot to say during the episode. I really want to give him a shout out. Back when you said you weren't pointing any fingers, points entire rest of body. I get that.
Don't you know what you're talking about, good sir?
He's now saying you nailed the feeling with Ultros. I think with the feeling, to give a player the feeling and not so much giving everything away with your stories, with your dialogue, with your environment. So I think giving you kudos there.
Yeah, but first and foremost, Ultros is a work of art. Yes, it is a game. It has mechanics. You can play it. But for me, the first thing I see when I dive into Ultros, believe me, I have dived into Ultros so many times working with this game. You play the game, you eat the game, you sleep the game, you hate the game, and then you have to acknowledge to yourself, what is this? First and foremost, for me, it's a work of art. And as you look at a piece of art at a gallery or something, the worst thing you want is someone to stand right beside you and whisper in your ear all the time what's everything's about, because you want to have the chance. You want to have a first impression. No one should tell you what your first impression should be. It's like that takes away everything. But of course, it's a game also, so you have to make sure that people get the tutorials when there are important things they need to do or understand with the mechanics to be able to live the rest of the artwork. They need to be good at certain things, and then you need to be careful so those moments are not lost. So those need to be clear and evident. And then you have to be also careful not to meddle too much with different areas, because in a room, if you enter a room in the realm of Ultros and you see all the symbolism, all the colors, up until the point that your eyes start to itch, and that's a good thing, then you don't need to throw in a bunch of dialogue or text to explain stuff. Then you need to curate yourself. You need to hold back, and that's, as a writer, is the worst and best thing ever, to take away more than you put in. First, you have to have something. You have to shove things in there, but then also you have to edit yourself. Sometimes it's the music that starts when you enter your area that sets the tone for everything. It tells you everything what this will be. This is how you're supposed to feel, without words, without even looking at the screen. You can just hear it. And sometimes you walk into a room, it's silence. You can see something. You can see a statue explaining more to you than I could talk to you about for hours. And believe me, I could talk to you for hours, as we see here. But sometimes you also, as a writer, get the chance to put something in there. I can propose something, like I did to Niklas, to Herwo, and he could say this is great, we need to have it. Where can we put it? And then it's then you have to find just the right nook or cranny to feel here is a passage where the player can breathe a bit from the impressions. Now they have landed a bit. Now we can present them with something that has not got to make sense at all.
Right.
It just has to add to the mood, just as I said, from the mood, from things like Kentucky Route Zero, Disco Elysium, everything that David Lynch has ever done and keeps doing right now in another dimension. Just to add something to a vibe that makes you feel something. You don't have to understand it. You just have to feel it. You have to feel it. The feeling is the important part here.
Yeah, that's a very great point. And I do get what you mean when you say Ultros is an art form, or it's a work of art.
Yeah.
That's definitely the first thing I clocked when I see anything Ultros related. I'm like, oh my god, this array of colors is beautiful, and that's something that I have realized as an adult. That's something that really hooked me onto games growing up. So often now, when I review games and I look at games, guess mechanically, the first thing I do go for is the colors. Is there a theme with the colors? Are they trying to denote something with the colors? I will quickly. Hassan wants to obviously send RIP to David Lynch.
Yeah. For me personally, as someone creating things, wanting to put emotions into words or into pictures, he has been my go-to cushion for every opportunity where I felt that I need to have a little creative pick-me-up. Or something just to get me in the mindset. I could rest in Twin Peaks and just hearing the music or the scenery or hearing someone say a favorite line from it. That could be my reset.
Yeah.
To get into my creative autumn with the feelings and feeling the breeze and those dim brown colors of that palette.
No. Oh, you truly are a poet.
Yeah.
I feel like it felt like you were describing like getting yourself back into the feeling to put out more work, right? Once you're in a rut.
Yeah, any way it wants to get out. I mean, if it's a scribbling of something, if it's a complete piece of something, if it's just 4 words on a paper that I later can revisit and put into something, it just had to go out. It has to come out there.
Sure. Hassan wants to argue with you, by the way. Crystal Skull is the best Indiana Jones game.
Oh, we're gonna have a fist fight. Yeah, but it's cool. I knew this was gonna happen sooner or later. So why not here? Why not right now? Why not Hassan?
Right here.
I am outside your window. I'm inside the house. I'm inside the house. Yeah.
Love that.
Crystal Skull.
So, as you are the writer and the narrative designer for Ultros, can you tell me a little bit about specific challenges that you encountered while making the game? I know you spoke a little bit about using David Lynch as a bit of a North Star, but in terms of building the game, tell me about your personal journey with that.
Well, the first thing is always you want to drop your ego right at the door, because once you start getting into poetry mode and everything is so profound and so deep all the time, you kind of, for me, it's easy to get lost in that everything needs to be spectacular and deep and fantastic, which trips you up after a while, of course, because then you put so much pressure on yourself. And I'm not writing World and Peace here. I'm not like doing the Mastodon book series. It's a combined work of art, combined. So it's not one person that should have all this on their shoulder. It's not one discipline that has to shine. It's the whole that is important. So of course I have to bring myself in it and with everything that means and everything I want to say. And then I have to, as I said before, edit myself. I have to smack myself a few times and I have to cry a few times. And that's only before I've gotten out of bed. Then comes the hard work. Then it's about like not being lost in feeling that you have to perform a certain thing or everything has to sound a certain way. It's a funny thing, I've said it before, just when Yahtzee played the game, and he said, yeah, someone got a thesaurus for a gift for Christmas, and I was like, yes, this is but it was intentional at some parts, that it should be like stilted, but unfortunately he never answered when I wrote all those. Yes, it's correct. It's just like, who is this idiot? But it is like that. It's sometimes people see what you do and they don't get why, and they sometimes can feel that this is bad. But that's sometimes it's the writer or the designer that is lazy, and sometimes it's the audience that's lazy because they have expectations. They think that they're going to meet something they met before, and when they meet something they don't identify immediately, they either go the curious route or they go the kind of, I'm not really sure about this route. And curiosity is the key for me when creating things. And it's also the key that I want to invoke in an audience. I want to make them curious. I want to give them crumbs of things to follow without giving them the whole loaf of bread at the same time, because if they get it from the start, they're full.
Yeah, exactly.
So they want to find things. They want to find things, and they want to find things that I didn't even know were part of it. They want to think about stuff, or all of a sudden think about stuff that they didn't even realize they were going to get by this. It's like watching a movie and halfway through it just shifts in tone. Same with games, but it's harder because you want to also be able to tell people what kind of game it is. People wonder, people want to put labels on everything all the time, of course. So it's hard to sell something that's, it's a surprise. Yeah, but I'm really hungry and I'm allergic to these things. I don't know what's in the box. It's like, you can't really. But it's about editing yourself, leaving the ego at the door, and it's also about accepting that you yourself can't row this ship. It's a team effort, and it's better that way because that will leave you less exhausted than if you feel that it's up to me to make this interesting or quirky. Everything is quirky. I mean, look at all the colors of the cosmos we have. You can take one look at the game and feel like you have to lie down. Why would I bombard you with all the words I know? Why would I do that while you're lying down crying in purple and I'm throwing books at you? That doesn't make sense. And Oscar is throwing records at you. That doesn't make sense.
I do want to share this from Hassan. You want the audience ready for mystery?
Loafly. Yes, exactly. Ready.
I'm gonna be sick.
Ready or not?
Oh no.
Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide, Hassan. The crystal skull. The crystal skull. Yeah, I feel it.
I think a bromance is forming. Oh no.
What have you done?
I don't know. Tell me one thing you are very proud of that you contributed to Ultros. Maybe it's like a spec, a line.
It's the descriptions of fruit, I would say. The descriptions of fruit and also the visions that you can find, the memories that are scattered in the sarcophagus. Because those were my moments to be a little more freeform. And I always like when I write descriptions for things, for items, edibles, or anything in Ultros, it's like I try to have facts from real life, believe it or not, from the actual area that you're jumping into. If it's about plants, I of course research plants and become for 3 weeks an expert on plants, experts on these different things, like how a fruit is constructed, what parts are called, what families of things are called, and then I try to like cluster things. I see a fruit. Sometimes it's from like design. The design of the fruit is already done, and then it's like, okay, this looks like something like this. This looks like this could have a sour taste. And then you have terminology that you try to have strings attached to that people could recognize or think that, oh, he really knows what he's doing. And I can say, I have no idea, but this will become poetry. And then I will like lead you through the path of facts, and then throw in a strange poetic quote at the end, and people will buy it as a whole. They will get it, but they were lured in by thinking that this could make sense. This has facts not from outer space, but from real life. And that's I said it before when I talked to people. One of the really first streams from the game, when I saw that someone that had a background in botanics or something like that actually said, "Oh, this guy knows what he's talking about." And that made me feel invincible for 5 minutes. And then someone found something else, and it was like, oh no, my God, they will hate this. But it's how it is. It's like highs and lows when you're an artist, when you're an actor, when you're a poet, an artiste. But for a brief moment in time, I was the expert on 30 subjects, and now I'm back to being a nobody again. And it feels, yeah, it's a ride.
Well, you're definitely not a nobody on this pod. You're a very important somebody.
I'm the only other person here. Yeah, okay, this mythical Hassan that I've heard about. Yeah, it's you typing things in another name. Right?
Yeah, you know, yeah, I'm really good at typing.
You've never been in the same room together ever.
Oh shit! Look. I've gotten away with it for a very long time. Don't expose me now, all right?
Yeah, you would have got away with it if it weren't for those meddling kids and that strange poet. Yeah. Yikes. Yeah. Shaggy. Hey, Andy. No, I can't.
We gotta split up.
Yeah. All right, we'll take the kitchen. Come on, Scoob.
Always with the kitchen.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about So we hear a little bit about the relationship that you had with or have with Kepler Interactive, how that came to be. Did they approach you first? Did you approach them? How did that happen? And why were they the people to go with when it came to publishing the game?
Yeah, the bonding part was before I jumped into the game, but I know that they were what do you say? People in the close vicinity of Niklas of El Huevo that already worked with people from Kowloon, and they were looking for a certain vibe or didn't know that the vibe they were looking for was that special, and then they saw the special thing and became interested, of course. And Kepler, of course, is the cool branch of Kowloon, or the publishing branch, and as I said, for my only experience from this with them is that they have been very supportive and beautiful all the way through. So it started with like a showing of psychedelic fruits, demons, and a vibe, a mood, some mechanics, and as with everything, any good relationship, you have to build on it. So you like add parts to it, and then all of a sudden you have like a full-blown companionship where you venture out on this vast sea together, seeing demon tentacles coming up from the water.
No, not tentacles. Oh, no.
Sir, behave. Peggy 18. Do you hear that?
18's fine. 18's fine. Tentacles is fine for 18-year-olds. It's fine. Don't worry.
Oh, I mean, Peggy 45.
Hey.
Yeah, that was the curtain call.
So I see you've got a collaboration with Lost in Cult, who specialize in video game art design. How did that collaboration come about, and what can we expect from this?
I think Lost in Cult is always looking for things that are plus ultra in coolness and radness. And hey, take a look. Need I say more?
No, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. So what you can expect, of course, is what they have shown is wonderful. I think, because I think they have really nailed the feeling from all the different parts of the game when it comes to the presentation of early sketches and of also capturing through their interviews from each discipline. I think John, the writer, is perfect for this, because they also had the passion going into it for real. As you yourself have said that you really like the game, they really like the game. And that's an important ingredient. Of course, it shouldn't be like fan art. It shouldn't be like just someone not looking at something with a not with a critical eye, because this is not that kind of work when you're doing a book like that, because it's to elevate the art, but being able to like see different things from a different angle coming from the outside and still having the love for it. I think that will make it very special. And it was also very nice for me to be able to come with suggestions. And I had at that time also been writing a lot of poetry inspired by my work on the game, of course. And I also wanted to share something of that into the book. And as a matter of fact, it will be in a booklet inside the book.
Cool.
A part of my own demonic journey through this beautiful, psychedelic, heartfelt, empty, lonely, filled with love, everything at the same time.
Everything at the same time.
Yeah.
Something that we had talked about before, which I find very interesting, is how you were able to unlock markets that you didn't expect to. So can you talk to me a little bit about that, where Ultros became really popular in non-English speaking countries, and anything you feel that could have given you an inkling or an indication as to why that might be?
I think it has to do with the art style, with the symbolism it draws from, the blend of so many cultural cues and the curiosity from Niklas when he creates. I think those countries picked up on that because they felt something. They felt threads into the work from their own cultural heritage when it came to composition and colors and symbols and shapes. So, but they were also very big fans of, as it would show, from the poetic vibe and the story beats and the writing. So having done many interviews with lovely people from all over the world, it really resonated with the journalists from Latin America. Very nice to get that recognition. You don't know sometimes when you create stuff and you sit in a different country, you sit in a different part of the world. You have no idea how people in America or in China or in even Norway, which we used to own, by the way, in time, and they're so close to us, we don't even think about them. So all of a sudden, someone calls me from Argentina and say, "Hey, I love you." It's like, whoa.
Hey, yo.
Thank you. Who this? New number. It's like, but that feels more surreal than if someone from a neighborhood, from a neighboring country, which Norway is lovely, by the way. Lovely people. Have many friends there. I'm not lying right now. This is the truth. But it feels more special when people that you didn't expect to find your gifts, what you wanted to bring people. Same when you got like the first localized parts from Japan and seeing how they worked with the translation. It was very interesting because I was, of course, masterminding the eye over the poetics in the translations, because some things are hard to translate, some things are impossible to translate, and then you have to make a decision: is it okay if they take certain liberties here? For me, being half German, it's easier for me to look at the German and say that they're doing a really great job, but I don't speak Japanese at all. But from the questions they posed to me during the localization phase, that really made me realize that they understood, that they really asked for me the right questions. So then I felt I could trust them. I could trust everyone else that made a beautiful job with the localization, but that was an interesting beat to find when someone presents you with a question that makes you think, yeah, you really get this, and you bring something from your culture to translate this. So what I wanted to give is given by you, but in your way. Those things are surreal.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, of course, Ultros won the very prestigious Streamcast Game of the Year 2024.
Yes. Victory! Sorry, just thinking about it makes me like... reliving is like having an Olympic gold medal or something. Yes.
I love that. I love to hear that. It doesn't come with a medal or a trophy, but it comes with pride,
it's here.
bragging rights.
The medal is in here.
That's right. That's right. Tell me a little bit about that. Seeing our random
so there was this
tournament
stream.
thing.
It was the best stream ever. It was like, don't know if you heard about it, Streamcast. It's like top 2 of the streams I've ever heard of. Seeing top two. Yeah. And yeah, what can I say? It's like someone reinvented the wheel, but better. It's like sliced bread, but you can ride it as a car and drink it at the same time. It doesn't get any better than that.
I finally have a way to describe Streamcast now. Thank you so much.
I'll take 10% though.
Hey,
But we can fix the things.
yeah, we can talk about that after the episode. Yeah. Can have Hassan's cut. It's cool.
No, it was nice. It was nice because when you've been so close to so many things, I mean, we have been more nominated than any presidential candidate ever in the history of any democracy. We have been so close to getting the medal that we could actually taste it, and then it was robbed. It was taken away from us. I'm not telling what kind of games took it, but there are many nice games that came out the same era of time that we came out. So it's beautiful games. I love them a lot and made them win so many more awards. I love them all. And yeah, but we could have had at least one small award. And then all of a sudden, as an angel appearing from the sky, came Streamcast. And that also became like a more personal involvement for people to feel like these are passionate people. They seem to like what we're doing. If they like us, we love them. So, and then it was great fun to see like, oh, so we're up against these games, and all of a sudden we had beaten Astro Bot to a pulp. Yeah, sorry. Very nice game. I really love Astro Bot, but it was also very nice to take that. Was it a quarterfinal? Was the semifinal? I don't know, because we won all the finals.
Yeah, you won the whole thing.
Yes. Vindication. But that made it feel extra heartfelt because of the engagement of people around us, and also from Kepler. And then it like you, of course, you have to work for every success, for every like step of the way when you train to do something. But this was also like an extra hurdle to climb over, and we did it. So now I'm sitting here with a Streamcast gold medal of the Streamcast Olympics, the Hassan World Championships. So
the Hassan World Championships. Yeah, we love you a lot too.
You just typed that. I saw you.
What? No, what?
No, I'm just
kidding.
kidding.
Wasn't me. No, it wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
Wasn't
So
me.
standing at the counter. What?
Pelle, please tell me what is next for you. Like, I know we're enjoying what's right now, what it is now, and
yeah,
obviously, I don't want to take focus away from what is right now. We're celebrating a year of Ultros, but this is the question that everyone gets when they are an artist, when they're putting out work. Everyone wants to know what's next. So, Pelle, what is next for you? Are you writing a future game? Are you taking a step away from gaming? What is next for you?
I think immediately after having released a game that had been in production for so long, for some people over 6 years, and all of us from the core had been in and out of stuff creatively for such a long time. So for me personally, I had to find my breath again. I had to find my own balance, and from mid of last year, getting into writing poetry again. First just a small fragments, putting it together, and then all of a sudden now I have written at least one piece every day, and I think I'm close to 400 pieces now of poetry too.
No.
Like they're each hold their own story, even if it's just a few lines. But for me, it was important to get back into regular creativity with my words, to find my creative footing again. And I want to, of course, I want to keep doing games, but I also want to keep working with my music and with my lyrics and my singing and stuff. But I have, of course, also games in mind that I want to do, that I'm collecting ideas from, be it from being out taking a nice brisk walk in the cold northern darkness of morning or being covered by dust in a countryside basement, trying to get away from 50 cardboard boxes falling over me. Wherever you get the inspiration, but everything I do right now is also giving me suggestions. Whether it's sorting out old stuff, you get memories, you find things, you start to connect things once more. And that's the thing with fragments. I've always been working with fragments, like poetry is fragments. It's fragments of words and it's fragments of emotions. And right now I'm in a state of almost finding enough fragments to put together to create something. So I have a thread going through some ideas, and now I'm trying to pick up as many interesting pieces along the way. And I know the other people from the team also now. When we made Ultros was Haddock was chiseled for the reason to make Ultros. It was molded around Ultros, and of course when things dragged out or some things took longer, people also disappeared to do their own things or to follow new paths. So whatever comes will be in the shape that appears at that time, if that makes sense. Yeah. In some way it makes sense.
Yeah, no, sure does. Yeah. It's a different artistic process. And I do understand you, after putting so much time and energy into a project, sometimes the best thing to do is just rest. Sometimes it is just to take stock, to kind of find your footing again, find what you actually want to do next, as opposed to having someone over you telling you, okay, you've done this one, now it's on to the next one. Sometimes the passion can die out if it's just work and work and work. It's definitely okay to take that time to be okay, well, I want to do what I want to do right now. I've done that. Amazing. So I completely hear that. Makes sense. I'm sure whatever artistic project you're working on next will be amazing and full of just as much passion. So of course, and thank you for agreeing to come on the pod. The first special guest of the live podcast era. I want to once again thank you for agreeing to come on. Thank you, Pelle. Happy belated birthday. Happy anniversary to Ultros. I see that they lined up the release of the game with your birthday there, but
it's in the stars. It really is in the stars.
How can people support you, follow you? Share all your social links.
Yeah, it's basically my last name, Cahndlerby, everywhere. At Instagram, at the place formerly known as Twitter, at Blue Sky. It's my last name. That is what you'll find me by.
Amazing. I think there should be links in the description to the Ultros game. We'll put links in the comment section to Pelle Cahndlerby. So,
very nice. Very nice. And my face, big everywhere, with a trophy from your excellent stream.
The trophy, yes.
Plastered to my forehead.
That's a very interesting take. I have not heard the Whisper Streamcast.
Yeah, okay, you should have it. You should have it. And while people waiting to dive into the real show, you should have sublime messages.
Yeah.
Hassan, Streamcast.
That can work. Yeah.
And I'll take 10%.
Okay. Well, you had me into that last bit.
Shucks.
Hassan with a killer at the end. The S in ASMR stands for Streamcast. And once again, wishing you a happy birthday.
Thank you.
Of course. Don't go anywhere, because in just under an hour, we will be live on our gaming YouTube channel. Streamcast Gaming. The link is in the chat, or our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/StreamcastTV, where I will be streaming the first 3 hours of Ultros, the 2024 Streamcast Community Game of the Year. Thank you once again, Pelle, for coming on the pod. Appreciate you, and we appreciate everyone who's come through. Whether you are watching live, please give us a thumbs up. If you're watching the replay, leave a comment. If you have any other questions that I didn't ask that you'd like to know from the artiste behind Ultros, leave them in the comment section. We might get him back on. We might have him answer the questions. And this
because I haven't answered anything during this whole broadcast. So
well, you've just been making puns with Hassan all day. Like, I don't know.
all week.
This pod will be available on all the other platforms as well. So your Apple, your Spotify, your Amazon, your Castbox, wherever you get your pods, you can enjoy this interview. But until next time, actually in just under an hour on our Twitch and gaming YouTube channels, we'll see you. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Stay safe. We'll see you on the next Streamcast.
Love.
Peace.